Hi, here we have a journal plans to publish 18 research papers written by 8 authors A, B, C, D, E, F, G and H in 4 issues of the journal scheduled in January, April, July and October. Each of these research papers was written by exactly one of the 8 authors. 5 papers were scheduled in the first 2 issues. So out of 18, 5 were scheduled in the first 2 issues. So this means out of 18, 5 plus 5, 10 were scheduled in the first 2 issues of January and April. So January will have 5 papers published, April will have 5 papers published, so remaining will be 8 papers for July and October. Okay. While the 4 were scheduled in each of the last 2 issues, so there were 4 in each of the last 2 issues, hence we have a total of 18 research papers published in these 4 issues. Next, every author wrote at least 1 paper and at most 3 papers. Okay, so each one wrote at least 1 and maximum 3, minimum 1, maximum 3 papers. The total number of papers written by A, D, G and H was double the number of papers written by the other 4 authors. Okay, so let's say the number of papers written by A, B, C, D, E, F, G and H is A, B, C, D, E, F, G and H respectively. So it is given that the papers written by A plus D plus G plus H, this is equal to twice the number of papers written by the other people, which is B plus C plus E plus F, right? And also we know the total number of papers written A plus B plus C plus D plus E plus F, G and H. All together this should be equal to 18. So now what we can do is, instead of A, D, G, H, instead of A, D, G and H, we can substitute twice of B, C, E, F. So we have B plus C plus E plus F remaining here, and instead of this we substitute twice of B plus C plus E plus F. So this whole thing becomes thrice of B plus C plus E plus F, which is equal to 18. So we get B plus C plus E plus F altogether is 6. That means these 4 people wrote 6 papers together. Hence these 4 together must have written twice of 6, 12 papers. Okay. Now if all 4 of them together have written 12 papers, and we know maximum papers written by each person will be 3. That means each of these 4 persons wrote exactly 3 papers. This is the only possible way you can get a total of 12 papers for these 4. So we'll be making a table for each issue, each area, each country and the people here. So for people, we have figured out that the number of papers written by A, D, G, H is 3 each. So A writes 3, D writes 3, G writes 3 and H writes 3 papers. Also we know that January and April have 5 papers published in each of these issues, and July and October had 4 papers published in each of these 2 issues. Next is we have 4 of the authors are from India and 2 are each from Japan and China. So there are 4 from India and 2 each from Japan, China. Total we have 8 authors. Next, each author belonged to exactly one of the 3 areas, which is manufacturing, automation and logistics. 4 of the authors were from logistics and 2 were from automation area. So there were total 8. Out of 8, 4 were from logistics and 2 were from manufacturing. So 4 plus 2 is 6. So the remaining 2 will be from automation, or rather it's given that 4 are from logistics and 2 from automation. Okay. 4 are from logistics, 2 are from automation. So 4 plus 2 is 6. So the remaining 2 people will be from the third area, which is manufacturing. Okay. Next, as per the journal policy, none of the authors could have more than 1 paper in any issue. So for any issue, each author will write maximum of 1 paper. So the 5 papers written in January would be written by all 5 different authors. 5 in April will be from all 5 different authors. Same is for July and same is for October. Okay, and these are the additional conditions given to us. So let's look at these additional conditions and fill these table here. Now it would help if you fill these tables simultaneously. If you try to fill only two of these tables simultaneously, you can still do it, but you'll have to think a lot more. Here, if you make these tables and fill simultaneously, you'll get a very clear picture of what is happening. So let's start first here. F, an Indian author from the logistics area. So we have F. F here is an Indian author. And F is from logistics area. Now next it is given that C and E both Chinese authors. Okay, so C and E are both Chinese. C is Chinese and E is also Chinese. So if we are from China, C and E. China has only two authors, so that means there will be no other author from China. So for H, we knew H will be either from China or Japan, but since China has only two authors, C and E, so H cannot be from China, hence H has to be from Japan. So H is from Japan definitely. Okay, so this is what we have so far. Next, so C and E are both Chinese authors from different areas. Okay, so the area for C and the area for E, they are both different areas. So we'll figure that out later, what are the different areas. Now they had the same number of papers scheduled. Further, E had papers scheduled in consecutive issues of the journal, but C did not. So now it means from here, if E had papers scheduled in consecutive issues, that means E must have published at least 2 papers. So number of papers that E schedules or E publishes greater than or equal to 2. And same will be the case for C as well, because C and E both have same number of papers scheduled. And also we know B plus C plus E plus F should be 6. B plus C plus E plus F should be 6. Now, is it possible for C and E to publish 3 papers? If they both publish 3 papers, then B and F will have to publish 0 papers, which is not possible because everyone has to publish at least 1 paper. Hence, this is not possible. So, the only possible case is that both C and E publish 2 papers each, whereas B and F publish at least 1 paper each. They will have to publish 2 or more than 2. So only 2 is possible. So 2 plus 2 is 4. Remaining we have 2 more papers. 6 minus 4 is 2. Since both of them have to publish at least 1 paper, so the sum comes out to be 6 here. Okay. So we have B publishing exactly 1 paper, C publishing 2, E publishing 2, and F we knew is already publishing 1. We already knew from here. Okay. Fine. Now, so E had papers published in consecutive issues, but C did not. So we don't have enough information to figure out about these people. So we'll come back to this later. Next is B from logistics area. Okay, so we know B is from logistics. So B is from logistics. Logistics is B. So B from logistics area had a paper scheduled in April issue. So B had a paper in April. Okay. Fine. B and G belonged to the same country. Now for B and G, they belong to the same country. So which country can it be? Now we know there are 2 Chinese, so they are done. We cannot fit in more people in for China. B and G, if they are from same country, so if both of them are from Japan, in that case we'll have total 3 people. Hence B and G both cannot be from Japan. Hence the only possibility is that B and G are both Indians. So B is also Indian and G is also Indian, right? So we have 4 Indians here. So the only person left is D. Hence D must be a Japanese. B has to be a Japanese here. Okay. And now if you look at this table, we know automation is not done by Japanese or Chinese. Hence automation is only done by Indians. So let's see, we have a automation A is done by Indian, B is an Indian but does logistics, F is an Indian but does logistics. So the only Indian left to do automation is G. So G must be from automation area. So we have A and G from automation area. Okay. Next, if you look at this whole statement, we have B and G belonged to the same country. Fine. None of their papers were scheduled in the same issue of the journal. So whenever B publish, G does not publish. So we have, for B only one paper is published, for G 3 papers are published. Now for if G 3 papers have to be published and G cannot publish in April because B is publishing here. So this means that G has to publish its 3 issues in the remaining, or 3 papers in the remaining 3 issues. So G must publish in January, July and October for sure, right? Okay. Next, D, a Japanese author. This we have already figured out. This was really not required, but fine. D, a Japanese author from the manufacturing area. So D is from manufacturing. We have figured this out. D is from manufacturing. Did not have a paper scheduled in July. So D does not publish in July, but D publishes 3 papers, and he or she can publish only 1 paper in each issue. Hence, if it does not publish in July, it must publish in January, April and October for sure. Okay. And now in the last point it is given that C and H belong to different areas. So these are the areas that we have. Now automation, there are 2 people and we have figured out the 2 people. So if C and H are from different areas, so one of C or H must be from manufacturing and the other must be from logistics, right? So now for logistics, for manufacturing the 2 people will be D and C or H. For automation the 2 people are A and G, and for logistics we want 4 people. Out of the 4 people we have F, B and H or C. So 1, 2, 3 people are fixed. So the fourth person is A, B, C, D, E. So E must be from logistics. E has to be from logistics. That is what we can figure out here. So E is from logistics, whereas C and H, C or H is from either manufacturing or logistics, or manufacturing, right? So we'll figure that out. How do we figure that out? Here it was given that C and E, although they are from same country, they are Chinese, but they are from different areas. So C and E are from different areas. So if E is from logistics, C cannot be from logistics. Hence C has to be from manufacturing. So C has to be from manufacturing. That means H is from logistics. H must be the logistics guy. Okay. So now we know about the number of papers for each person, country and area. These 3, 1, 2 must have been written here, but that's fine. 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 3, 3. Now let's figure out the people or the authors which issue they publish their papers in. So A has to publish 3 papers, and that is, we have figured out January, April and July. So we are done with A. B has to publish 1, and that is in April. We have figured that out. Let's remove this. D has to publish 3, and that is July, April and October. We are done with this. F has to publish 1, and that is in October. We have figured that out as well. G has to publish 3, and we have figured that out, that is January, July and October. So let's remove this. And H has to publish 3, that is January, April and July. We have figured this out. So now we are left with C and E. For C and E, it is given that E had papers scheduled in consecutive issues of the journal, but C did not. So E, who publishes 2 papers, must come consecutively, whereas C's 2 papers must not come consecutively. So far we don't have C or E here. So let's focus on E. If E publishes in consecutive papers, let's say if this is January and April. So first of all, for January there must be 5 authors, we have figured out 4. So 1 is remaining. Same is the case for April, July and October. So for each of these months, exactly 1 author is to be figured out. And obviously, so we have to figure out 4 authors, and these 4 authors must be CC and EE. Now E has to come consecutively. So can it be January and April for E? So if this is January, April for E, then C must come in July, October, and that will make C publish in consecutive issues, which is not possible. Right? Next, is it possible for E to publish in July, October? Here again, if E publishes in July, October, then we'll have C coming in January, April, and C will be publishing in consecutive issues. Hence, this is all not possible. So the only possibility for E is E publishes in April and July. So in this way, E publishes in consecutive months, and in this case C will have to publish in January and October, which means C does not publish in consecutive months. So now we have figured out the country for each author, the area for each author, and the issue each author is publishing in. Right? So now let us look at the questions. The first question is, what is the correct sequence of number of papers written by B, C, E and G? So B writes 1 paper, C writes 2 papers, E writes 2 papers and G writes 3 papers. So 1, 2, 2, 3 is the correct sequence. Option A here is the right answer. Next question is, how many papers were written by Indian authors? So who are the Indian authors? A, F, B and G. So A writes 3 papers, F writes 1. Okay, so let's figure out. This is Indian 3 plus 1 4 plus 1 5 plus 3 8. So the number of papers written by Indian authors is option 8 over here. This is a theta question. 8 is the right answer. Okay. Next, which of the following statements must be true? Okay, let's look at these statements here. Statement A, every issue had at least 1 paper by authors from each country. Okay, let's see if this is true. So can each author have, each issue have authors from all the 3 countries? Let's see. For January, we have A from India, from Japan we have H, and from China we have C. So this fits. The January has authors from all the 3 countries. April has an Indian A and a Japanese H and a Chinese E. So this April issue also has all the 3 nationalities. July has A from India, H from Japan and E from China. So July also has all the 3 nationalities. October has F Indian, then we have D Japanese, and then we have C Chinese. So October also has all the 3 nationalities. So statement A is true. Definitely. Next, look at the statement B. Every issue had at most 2 papers by authors from each area. Okay, so this means there should be no issue which has more than 2 papers from a particular area. Right. So each issue had at most 2 papers by authors from each area. So this will be true if each issue has at max 2 papers from a particular area. If an issue has more than 2 papers from an area, this statement will be false. Right. So now if you look at April issues are by A, H, B, D, E. Out of these 5 people, F, we have B, H and E. They are all from the same area, logistics. So April has 3 papers from each area, but the statement says each issue had at most 2 papers from an area. So this statement is basically false, because April has more than 2 papers from a particular area, so this is false. So the right answer here will be option C. Only statement A is true. We have to figure out which statement is true. Only statement A is true. Okay. Next, which of the following statements is false? Let's see. Every issue had at least one paper from automation. Now, is it possible? For automation, there are two people, A and G. So January, April and July has automation, and G is in October. So October also has a paper from automation area. So this is true. This is true. Next, B. Every issue had exactly 2 papers by Indian authors. So let's see. Who are the Indian authors? A, F, B, G. So January has A and G. These are the 2 Indians. So exactly 2 Indians. April has A and B. These are the 2 Indians in April. In July, who are the Indians? A, F, B, G. A and G are the 2 Indians. And October, we have F and G. These are the 2 Indians. So each issue has exactly 2 Indians. So this statement is also true here. Okay. Let's look at the third option here. Every issue had exactly 2 papers by logistics area. Okay. So let's look at the logistics area now. Sorry. So starting from January, logistics is F, B, H and E. So F, B, H and G. So there are 2 people, H and G, from the logistics area in January. In April, F, B, H, E. F, B, H, E. So in April there are 3 people from logistics area. But option C says there has to be exactly 2 from logistics area. So this is false. So we have to figure out the false statement. Option C is definitely false. If you check for D, D also will come out to be true. Only option C is false here. Okay. Next question. Which of the statements is false again? So option A, there was exactly 1 paper by an author from manufacturing area in April issue. So in April, who are the manufacturing people? D and C. So out of D and C, only D is publishing. So in April, there is only 1 paper by manufacturing. So this is true. Option B, there was exactly 1 paper from logistics area in October. So who are logistics? F, B and H, E. So out of F, B, H and E in October, only F is publishing. So there is only 1 logistics area author in October. So this is also true. Option C, there were exactly 2 papers from manufacturing in January. So manufacturing is D and C, and both D and C are there in January. So in January there are exactly 2 from manufacturing. This is true. So the only option remaining is option D. This must be the answer. Let's check. There were exactly 2 papers from manufacturing area in July. So manufacturing is D and C. In July, none of D and C is there. So obviously there were 0 papers by authors from manufacturing area and not 2. Hence option D is the false statement here. And finally, coming to the last question. Which of the following is the correct sequence of number of papers by authors from automation, manufacturing and logistics area? Let's figure that out. Automation is A and G. So A gives us 3 papers and G gives us 3 papers. So 3 plus 3, 6 papers from automation authors. Next is manufacturing. Manufacturing is D and C. So C gives us 2 papers and D gives us 3. So 2 plus 3 is 5 papers. Out of 18, 6 are from automation and 5 are from manufacturing. 6 plus 5 is 11. Hence remaining 7 papers must be from logistics area. So the correct sequence is 6, 5 and 7. Hence option B is the right answer for this question. Thank you.